my lovelies, how are you? Hopefully you're all well. Hopefully everybody is okay. Happy Tuesday. It's an extra special Happy Tuesday today because it's our Sarah Jane's 60th birthday. She says she's officially old now, so, you know, I can tease her as much as I want. And she says it's all right. But yeah, I hope you will join me in wishing her a massive, massive happy birthday. We've had a lovely weekend. We've done some bits over the weekend together, which was really nice. We went out for a meal on Saturday, some drinks in town, some people watching, which was lovely. We are officially old, though, all of us, because I think we were home by about 9:30, 10 o'clock. We did go out at 3, but it was enough. It's when you're getting old, when you're coming home as everyone else is going into town. And then we had a family barbecue yesterday, which was lovely too. So I hope you'll all wish her a massive happy birthday. Hi Anne, hello lovely. Anne's in the shop with us today. They'll be alive on Thursday, but they won't be alive tomorrow night because I'm not going to be here. I'm going away for a few days with Mia B. We're going away Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, not back till Saturday. So the kids are being left alone. Kids, they're grown-ass adults now. So what we're going to do today... Oh, actually, before we start the block, you might want to check out the website and go to Fabric and have a little look at... the new Tula Pink range that we have got in. It's called Full Moon Forest number 2. It's stunning. I think there was only 3 companies in the UK that had it, and we were lucky enough to get the whole collection. So I think there's only 12 in the collection, but I've just put it on the website. If you're a Tula Pink fan, you need to go and check it out because we literally had 1 bolt of each of the collection, not very much at all. So yeah, do check it out. It's gorgeous. Oh, I've just broke my nail. Never mind. Hi Patty. Hi Eileen. Hello my darlings. So what we're going to do a block today, which is one of my what if blocks. You know, when I have these ideas and I go, what if I do this? Well, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do a what if block, okay? This is what if you play around with quarter square triangles. Sorry, the washing machine's going. It might be noisy, guys. So we're going to go over to here. So I was I'm in an hour about what to do. Couldn't decide what I was going to do over the weekend, and then I thought I'm going to play around with some quarter squares. What if I do some bits with quarter square triangles? So we're going to start by making half square triangles. So I've cut this out of old fat quarters I had. I used some of them for a quilt, and these are the ones that I've got left over. So again, good for your fat quarters. So I've cut 5.5 inch squares to start with, and we're going to make half square triangles out of these. So we're going to start, as we always do with half squares, right sides together, and then we're going to draw a diagonal line and we're going to stitch either side. I started with 5.5 because I didn't want them to end up too small. You could go smaller, you could go a lot bigger, entirely up to you, but I'm going to do that to start with, and then we're going to stitch 1/4 inch either side. So really bog standard stuff to start with. Hi Jean, how are you lovely? So over we go, and as always I'm just doing a scant 1/4 inch either side. Now Liz, I know you're looking for fat quarter patterns. This would work brilliantly with fat quarters because you can get quite a lot of 5.5 inch squares out, which means you can get quite a lot of finished blocks. So I'm going to take one down like that. So half square triangle both sides to start with. Half square triangle, 1/2 inch is what it's not even a 1/2 inch, it's a 1/4 inch. What am I doing today? And then over like that, give that a good press, and then we're going to cut that up along the diagonal line, which has now disappeared, but it's fine because I can just go corner to corner. If you like the thangs, we've now got them in the shop in a little set of 2 in a little pouch. They're the Millard ones. They're not on the website yet, but I will get them on this afternoon, and then I'll pop a link into Gigglers and all for you, okay? So 2 random 5.5 inch squares become 2 HSTs. So like that and like that. Okay. Then what we're going to do is going to make these into quarter square triangles. Okay. Now, very often when you're doing quarter square triangles, if you were doing, say, the hourglass block, you would take these two and you'd put them right sides together with opposites like that. So you can see that one's touching that one and this one's touching this one. And then you stitch again, like we did with the half square triangles. So you get a quarter square block like that, or an hourglass block it's sometimes called. Hi Nikki, hello darling. Hi Marion, hi Heather. Lots and lots. So that's a really standard, useful little half hourglass block, they call it. Let me come to the bigger overhead one, more like that. So it's a very easy little block to do. However, I want to play around with it. So I'm going to take one of these and we're going to cut it in half first. So if you pop it on point like that, and then put one of your horizontals along the seam line, and then move your ruler like that and like that. So I'm hitting the points, and we're going to cut across the diagonal like that. There we go. I need a new blade in my rotary cutter as well. So now we've got two quarter square triangles, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a plain piece here like that. Now we kind of did this in the bathhouse quilt, okay? So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to do, hi Kim, you're watching all the way from Turkey. Oh, I hope you're getting some sunshine, lovely. So we're going to put these right sides together and we're going to stitch them. Now I cut my background fabric triangles at 5.5 inches as well, and just cut them in half diagonally, okay? Give me these. They are slightly bigger than the little half squares cut in half, but that's okay because we've got a square up anyway, and you know I like a bit of wiggle room. So I'm going to stitch along here on both of these. So over we go, back over to here. This is kind of how my brain works with designing things. It's works on the fly. What if I do this? What if I do that? Hi Karen, how are you? You're still battling with your eye. Oh, bless you, darling. I hope things get better soon for you. We are thinking of you and sending you lots of good wishes. There we go, all the way down there. Your sight will not return. Oh, bless. Oh gosh, that's awful, darling. Really, that's really upsetting for you. There we go, so I'm going all the way down here, like that. You've got lovely sunshine where you are, Jean. Yeah, we've got beautiful sunshine here as well. It's really gorgeous today. So I've just stitched those background ones onto those quarter square triangles. And then we're going to come back over here and we're going to iron those out. So now we like I said, we kind of done something like this before with the bathhouse quilt. Except I think we cut little triangles rather than doing the half square triangle thing. When you get to this point, and I'm like, well, what could we do next? What if I disappear these? Okay, so what I mean by that is we're going to square these up now to 4.5 inches, because that's roughly what you can get out. So if I turn it, I find it easiest when I'm squaring up this type of block to have it like that. Okay, so I've got this long strong diagonal there, which I can use my 45-degree line on, and then I'm going to get my 2 1/4 because I want them to be 4.5. So half of 4.5 is 2 1/4, which is just there, and I can trim these down to 4.5. It's a little wasteful, but sometimes that has to happen when you're trying to work out what you're going to do. You could probably get away with cutting your background fabrics a little bit smaller, so you've got less waste, but I really do need to put a new blade in this rotary cutter. I can feel that it's not cutting properly. There we go. Let me try that other one. That one might be better. I'll try that one. Okay, so I've now got a 4.5 inch square, but with these different colours here. Okay, and then do the same on this one. Sorry, I was just reading the comments there. Yeah, absolutely. We're sending you lots and lots of love, Karen. I hope you at least get enough sight back that you can carry on with your sewing. That's better. There's proper blade in that one. Hi Ali, how are you, love? and then we're going to do 4.5 by 4.5 this way, like that. So what we've got now is you've got these little blocks that look like this, okay, and I've done some already in those different fabrics. All right, now these could be a block in their own right, okay. You could join these together and you've got a really nice random pattern, okay. You could turn them like this and you get really interesting. I'd probably do all different fabrics, but again, this is just me playing about for now. Okay, you've got this really interesting sort of like pinwheel thing happening, diamond happening. You could do it as a pinwheel. So I always get confused with a pinwheel. So that, hang on, there we go. That way, 90 degree, no. That way, must be 90 degrees that way. No, hang on. With a pinwheel, So you go like that. There we go, that's it, 90 degrees. I'm terrible at putting these together. 90 degrees, 90 degrees, there you go. So you'd have interesting pinwheel happening, like that one, okay. You could do all sorts, you know, you could put them together. Ooh, that might be interesting actually. Put them together like that. So when you joined all your rows, you'd have these like little sort of like elongated kite shapes of triangles and stuff. So there's lots of things you can play around with it at this point, okay. You don't know why you don't get notifications from us anymore to say the lives are on. Has anybody got any ideas? I really don't, my darling, I really don't. I'll have a look into it though. You might have to go into, hang on, if you come back here a sec. I know when they did a big update a few months ago, on some of the things I had to go in and re-follow the page and then allow notifications, and sometimes that works, so have a look at that. Okay, so you can play around with all these sorts of different things, but I'm going to keep it to a diamond for now, because then we're going to cut it up and like disappear it. Okay, so we're going to put this to this and this to this, so like that and like that. Okay, stitch down and then we'll stitch them all together. So over we go to here. You love this fabric? Yeah, this is a really old fabric now. It's a Ruby Star one. It was a Sarah Walters one that I had, and it's just a few fat quarters that I had left from a quilt that I did. So hang on, just line that back up because it just moved. There we go. So we're going to stitch down that one 1/4 of an inch. Stitch down, I think that one now. I hope I've done that right. I might have picked that up wrong, but again, it's a test one, so it doesn't really matter. I probably won't do anything with this one. It's just an idea of how to get it. Carol, you don't get notifications now either. Ooh, I don't know why that's happening, guys. The only thing, like I said, the only thing I can say is go back into your settings and just request, allow notifications from Facebook or allow notifications from us. There is this really, since they did this big update, there is quite a lot of things that have kind of gone a bit, oh there you go, Lynn's saying, go into Facebook settings, look at notifications. My iPhone, iPad, go to device settings, find the Facebook app and look at notifications there. It could be a system update, it's turned it off. Perfect. Thanks, Lynn. Yeah. I know the last big update that Facebook had, when we had all these problems with the cameras and stuff back a few weeks ago, that turned off loads of stuff for me. It was a pain in the bum, it really was. Right, back over here. So just put those together like that, and then I've ironed them in opposite directions, and we're just going to flip these over and nest that one like that. So I will pin this one this time. Okay, and then we're going to stitch across there. All right, so that's the beginning of a block in itself. So yeah, guys, if you're not getting notifications anymore, maybe try what Lynn's just suggested. It's almost certainly from an update. It happens a lot. There we go, down like that. Hi Maria, how are you, love? Okay. So now we've got sort of a finished block. We can kind of think, sorry, that washing machine is finally slowing down. My husband's off and he's doing some washing, which is brilliant. Get out on the line, but It's really noisy. Okay, right, so there's my block kind of finished like that. Okay, I've sewn it all together. We could then disappear this. Okay, so do you understand what I mean by disappearing? When you do like a disappearing 9 patch or disappearing 4 patch, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut, let's cut 1.5 inches through. So I'm going to cut 1.5 inches either side of the vertical and either side of the horizontal. Okay, so I'm going to stand up for this a second. So we're going to go 1.5 inches that way, and then I'm going to go 1.5 inches that way. Now move it normally. I'm being very naughty because it's a lot more difficult on camera to move the fabric. Okay, so I'm going to start by doing that like that, and then I'm going to do the same across here. So I'm actually, if you've got a turning mat, brilliant. Let's try that there, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do the same that way, and then we can mess around with it and see what happens. There we go. So let's just go through there like that, 1.5 inches that way, and then we're going to do exactly the same, 1.5 inches. Oh, come on, that way. Just line that up. There we go. There we go. Okay. Oh, no, that's what I was trying to avoid. Right, now, this might not work because we've got a real teeny tiny piece there, but it might have needed to be 2 inches, but we're going to give this a go, okay? So I'm going to keep the corners as is, and we're going to swap those, I think. Let's swap that one in that one. We're going to swap that one in that one, like that. And then we could turn that, couldn't we? So they're all different ones touching different ones now. So can you see you've got kind of a different block again already? Okay, so it looks like you've now played around with lots and lots of teeny tiny little bits. Okay. Went up to your page for notification not allowed came up and couldn't activate it to allow. Oh, how bizarre. I'll have a look on our settings as well. Okay. Okay, so you could do that sort of thing. You could, let's put those back a second. Let's put that back that way, back that way, like that, and that would have been like that. You could turn these, couldn't you? Could turn those. Oh, I've got the biggest bee stuck in this room as well now. There we go. Actually, no, I don't want to turn those. Let's turn the centre ones. Okay, so let's turn those just inwards. Oh, there you go. And you're going to get like a little Ohio star happening then. Can you see here? There. Oh, you're getting a little star happening. That's kind of cute. That might work. Just by turning those outer ones, can you see you've got that, the white there is becoming a star. You know, so you could play around with that. Okay, lots of things you could play around with. I'm just going to stick with that. You could turn full corners so the little bit is in the other position. Yeah, so you could turn that like that as well. So you've got that up here. Okay, you lose your star then because you've got white on white, but if it was the other way, you could do that too. So this is the whole idea of playing around with some scraps. Okay, so you can come up with your own blocks, make your own ideas up, is by that what if. I'm going to stitch that together as is. I quite like that with that star. I wasn't expecting that star to happen. So we're going to put this together. Let's see if it still stays. I think that this little tiny corner piece is going to be a teeny tiny little blip, but we'll see. We'll see. You might want to do maybe 1 inch rather than 1.5. So you've got a little bit more. Let's do that to that one. See what happens. I'm just going to iron this out quickly so I can put the other one on. So I'm going to iron that outwards like that. Mr. B, you don't belong in here. Out you go. Out you go. There we go. Let's add that one on. I don't know if I think you're going to lose all of that corner piece, but let's see. Might not. You might get a teeny tiny little blip of it. Okay, let's do that one. And I'm going to just bring the centre one over quickly rather than changing cameras. We'll just put that together as well. So that's going to go on there. Like that. Yeah, if I'd turned, yeah, Lynn, I know what you mean now. If I'd swapped those corner pieces, they'd been different colours as well. There you go. Karen, something's changed, so you got your notifications back on. Brilliant! Oh, I'm glad something's working, hun. There we go. So that was going to go on like that, and that would go on that side. There we go. So pop that like that. Stitch down that one. Oh, come on. Oh, I just got that thread caught. There we go. Got it. Had to give that a bit of. It's a bumblebee woken up from hibernation. Probably learned. Well, yeah, I think it is. It's a huge bee. I'm gonna have to get Phil to come and catch him and send him out in a minute. And then I'm just going to do the last little row. I won't put the rows together, but you'll be able to see it better once I've sewn it together, I think. There we go. Down that one. And then that one's going to go on. This other corner's going on that side. I'll give him a quick press and we'll have a little look and see. But I think you could do this with any size, what's the word? Any size starting square. So let's go back over here a minute. We'll just press this. So press that one out that way towards that bit. And then the centre one I'm going to press in that way. Yeah, out, in, like that, and in that side. Oh, Mr. B, the window's open, the door's over there. You want to go out, mate? You don't want to be in here. There we go. And then that one would be out again. Let's just do that. And give that a press there. Like that. There we go. I'm just going to put the one thing on and see how much of that little blip you actually see. Okay, let's do one. It's so versatile, lots of fun. Absolutely, hun. Yeah, you could absolutely put play around with this. I think, if you use scraps to start with, just play around with it and think, right, okay, I could have a go at this. I could do that. Then find one that you like before you start, commit to your full fabrics and stuff, your nice fabrics. But it's amazing what you can do when you just play around. And think, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try that. Here we go. But you might be looking for some food. If you shallow dish of water. Yeah, I will do, actually, lovely. I'm going to open all the windows wide. Oh, no, you do still see a tiny little bit of that triangle. That's nice. Let me just put this one on. And I'll show you. I'll iron it well and show you guys. So, let's just do that and that. I mean, it's quite a little block, but I started with quite small squares. I think if you started with a bigger square, obviously the more you cut into it, the smaller something gets, doesn't it? Because you've got to then sew it all back together. Right, why is that playing up there? There we go, got it. Couldn't nest that one seam. Come on. Oh, it doesn't like that little bit. There we go. I need a new needle as well. I need to show my sewing room some love and care, I think. I need a new rotary blade. I need a new needle on as well. Okay, right. Oh, I think he's found the window. Yeah, he's gone. He's gone. Right. Let's give this a good press now and see what it's happened. No, he's back. He was just... Right. Mr. B, you're going to have to go because you're very noisy. I'm going to open those windows really wide once we've finished and hopefully he'll disappear. Right, okay, so what you're going to end up with is something that looks a little bit like that. Now this is Diddy, this is small because I started with such small pieces. I only started with 5.5 inch squares, but I think that's quite pretty. I think, you've got quite a lot of, sort of variety in there. It looks like you've spent ages and ages doing all these. Look at these tiny little bits here. I quite like those little blips of colour. And it's sort of, you can kind of see the star without it being like in your face star. I don't know if I hold it like that, whether that's a bit easier for you guys to see. So what I'm saying is, go with what if I do this to a block, you know, starting by a simple half square triangle and adding in and cutting up. Do it with some scraps so you can have a proper play. Okay, so I'm coming back over here. So bit of a random one this today, obviously, because you know it wasn't really exactly a set block as such, but I do like having a little play around with things sometimes, and what can you do, and how, you know, what can you get out of it. You know, I mean, the block with the background triangle is nice in itself, but again, it really does look like I've spent ages getting all these little tiny pieces. I really like the fact you've got that tiny little blip of colour there. Play around, have a little go, see what you can come up with. If you come up with other designs, have a play, post them into Gigglers for me. Let me see what you've come up with. I'm going to go and DB my room now. I'm going to open these windows as wide as I can and see if I can get this poor bee outside. And I won't see you tomorrow because I'm not here. Sarah will see you here Thursday. She's going to still do Thursday 1 o'clock. Next time, I remember you've still got time to join me on Monday, next Monday the 12th, for the class with Adam. So 2.5 hour class. You need to go to Creative Hideaway. I think there's about 4 spaces left and that's it. So if anybody hasn't joined and they fancy joining, we're going to be doing a really lovely technique that you can use for lots of different projects and stuff. And yeah, you've still got time to join that one, so please do if you can on the Monday. I am going to go and finish off my afternoon in the shop, and then I've got to do a technical run through with Adam this evening, and then I've got to pack a bag because I haven't packed yet. So I'm going to have a nice couple of days off with my hubby, and I will see you all next week. Those of you on class, I'll see you on Monday at 6:30. If not, I'll see you all on Tuesday. I hope you have a lovely, lovely weekend. Take care, my darlings. Bye.